Bante, should we take a precept or want to start directly?
Okay, it's up to you.
Okay, Bante. So I uh, I request you, Bante, to please start the Dhamma talk.
Okay, so I will start, right?
Yes, Bante.
So before we start giving Dhamma talk, we will pay homage to the Buddha by reciting Namo Tassa 3 times. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sama Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sama Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sama Sambuddhassa. Last week we have already talked about the 5 precepts. We also call Kama Kilesa. Then there we also have already explained something about dissipating wealth. You mentioned there are 6 channels for dissipating wealth. So last week we have already explained about taking intoxicants. Today we have to start with the next group. The Buddha said to Singala, there are young householder, these 6 evil consequences in sauntering in the streets at unseemly hours. So which means if we have night outs frequently, there can be 6 evil consequences according to this discourse. Then they mention 6 evil consequences. 1, he himself is unprotected and unguarded. So which means if we have night outs, then we cannot protect ourselves or we cannot guard ourselves. This is unseemly hour. If there's no electricity, we have full of danger. Then 2, his wife and children are unprotected and unguarded. So we can easily understand he cannot protect his family because he was outside the house. As we don't have any protector in our house, if there's no royal friend or loyal friends who can protect our house or our family, then we are in danger. That means the family is also in danger. Then 3, his property is unprotected and unguarded. So here we have 3. He cannot protect himself, he cannot protect his family, he cannot protect his properties because he's always outside the house, always on the street, not in the house. Not only that, he is a suspect of evil deeds. So that means although many other people did many different things, other people do wrong things, people can suspect him. That kind of case can happen anytime, anywhere. Then 5, he is subject to false rumors. So that means false rumor means he can be accused by people. Okay, so for about the first 3, he himself is unprotected, his wife and children unprotected or unguarded. So in this part, we can understand that if somebody came and steal or kill the family member, he cannot protect because he's not at all. Not only that, there can be many other dangerous animals, such as snake, unseen beings, or maybe some other dangerous living beings. So he cannot protect himself from all these living beings, including his enemies. He cannot protect his family member from his enemies and also some dangerous animals. Then what about the fourth and the fifth, right? Is suspected evil deeds, or he is subject to false rumors. They have a relationship. That means many people can spread his rumors, his bad reputation. Sometimes because of suspicion, people may talk about him. Sometimes it can also be real. Then sixth one is he meets with many troubles. Here we say many troubles. It doesn't mention how kind of troubles. It can be any kind of troubles. For example, he will meet on the street with his enemy. He can assassinate him. This is also one of the troubles. Then he may be bitten by a snake on the street because it's at night and dark. Then totally dark, cannot see anything. So there can be many dangers or many troubles when we go out or when we have night out in unseemly hours. So these are the first parts we have to explain. So if I summarize the 6 evil consequences, he cannot protect himself, he cannot protect his families, he cannot protect his properties. There are 3. After that, he is suspected of evil deeds, he is subject to false rumors, he meets with many troubles. Altogether, there are 6 evil consequences in centering in streets at unseemly hours. Then again, the Buddha also talk about the 6 evil consequences in frequenting the regular shores. As we have explained, these are dissipating wealth. So, although we say vertical shore very simply, but not that simple. In India, you have many ceremonies, many festivals. Before we are going to join the festival, we have to prepare many different things. For example, you must sew a new clothes. So you have to prepare many other things, like in some ceremony, you have to prepare the flowers, perfumes, and many other decorations. So it makes busy. So when we are frequenting theatrical shows, that means many performance, many entertainment, like a public show, right? Not internet, not from internet. It's like a public show. Then, when we are really interested in this kind of things, we may have thought about it. Where is it? Dancing. This is also the first one. Dimension 1, where there is there dancing? This is the first inquiry. Then 2, where there's singing. And where there's music. Then 4, where is their recitation? Although we say recitation, yeah, we can also talk about like now narration, right? When the public They will have public speaker, they will narrate some story or some novels or something like that. This is called where there is their recitation. Then where there is a playing with symbols, then 6, where there's a pot blowing. Although here we say pot blowing, but in reality, it also can be considered as like a drum with one face. Mostly, we have 2-face drum. In Myanmar, we have some traditional drums, only one face. Big hollow, and second face is no. We're gonna play for the second face, but no more second face. So this means the drum with one face is also can be considered as a pot blowing. Yeah, according to the Pali translation. So these are the EV consequences of going to vertical show. So in briefly, we can understand that when we are interested in many performance, many entertainment, we will think about it too much. We have to find where is that one, where is that one. After that, we cannot walk properly. As you know, after a festival, you become exhausted. No more energy to continue your walk. Okay, I have to say one Myanmar festival, but this year is not active. The Myanmar New Year festival is really very terrible. Many of young people, they will take intoxicants, they will dance, sing whole day, they will splash water over people. Then it will be, they will have fun, and it's very enjoyable for them. But after the festival, they don't have any energy to continue their work. Their voice also not very smooth already because they sing songs or they make a lot of noise at the time. So you can imagine after performance or after a festival, if we have to watch at night, the next morning we cannot get up early. We cannot do our business activities, and that is one thing. So here the Buddha also mentioned if we enjoyed many of festivals or entertainments or theatrical shows or anything, we cannot earn properly. This is one thing. Another thing is if we have earned something, we cannot maintain or we cannot protect the properties we have acquired. That is also one of the problems with entertainment or festival or theatrical show. Then we have the next group. There are Yan Hausora, these 6 evil consequences in indulging in gambling. So that one is also very common in modern community. Many people are interested in gambling. So 1, the winner begets hate. So when we win in the gambling, then we will cheer, right? When cheering, the loser will hate the winner. So when we are getting better, then we may be proud of ourselves, right? Then it's like a mocking at other people. It's like a mocking at the loser. That is why it will be unbearable for them, in their minds. That is why they will hate us. So that means the winner begets hate. That is the first consequence. 2, the loser grieves for his lost wealth. So you can also imagine that kind of things. Actually, this kind of things can happen everywhere. Even in Myanmar, we have many problems like that. Now, like gambling, football, gambler. There's also like a lottery gambler. Many gamblers, like digital lottery or something like that. Many gamblers. So sometimes their investment is very big. They have to sell their house, their land, their properties. Then if they get lost, then they have to worry about their future. So here the second evil consequence is the loser will grieve for his lost wealth. Then 3, loss of wealth. So that means as he worry about it, it also can happen really. That's why he lost his wealth. So like a gambling is not like making proper effort. That is why it's a shortcut to become rich or to earn more money. Every shortcut is really any kind of shortcut is really very risky. So here again, he will lose his wealth, loss of wealth. Then 4, his word is not reliant upon in a court of law. So when he has to go to the trial court, people not rely on his speech. He's a gambler. He can cheat people. They can misunderstand his lifestyles. Then 5, he is despised by his friends and associates. So that means his friends and associates will look down upon him. So that means he is not honorable person in the community. That is why we have to consider this kind of things here. Then 6. He is not sought after for matrimony. I mean, for people would say he is a gambler and is not fit to look after a wife. So that is the evil consequences in indulging in gambling. Then again, we have 6 evil consequences in associated with evil companions. So actually, this one is very simple explanations. I mean, he will associate with any gambler. So by associating with gambler, at least he has to take care of him. Or maybe if they borrow your properties or loan your properties, you have to give them. Then there can be some problem with gambler. This is one thing. Another one is libertine. So although we say libertines, That means he's shameless. Right? He's shameless. No more moral shame. No more moral fear. Also, he is indulging in sensual pleasure. Indulging in sensual pleasure. So it can also spoil his life. Then the next one is associating with any drunkards. So we can say now modern society like a drunkard, alcoholics or something like that. Okay, that means there are many heavy drunkards. They cannot take care of their properties, as we have mentioned before. If we associate with that kind of friends, then we can also get lost. Then the next one is any swindler. So that means he will cheat people. He had wicked minds. Then next one is any cheat. That means the one who cheats in the present. So here we can understand two different people. There are some people, they will cheat in the absence of us. There are some friends, they will cheat in front of us. This is called, right? You can say, evil associations or evil companions. Then the last one is any, roadie. So we can also understand he can forcefully take properties from other people's properties. So when we have any roadie as his friends or companions, then there will be bad association, bad companies. So here we can also understand something like, for example, when we see some friends and they like a like now more so like a snooker, many right? A casino or many other companies. So we can now say this is a good friend, right? Similarly, in the brother house or in the bar or in the pub, then it depends on the place we see or we met people. Then, I remember one of my friends. Then he encouraged his younger brother. His younger brother is working in Mandalay. Then he encouraged, if you are free, just go and meditate in the meditation center. At least, although you may see many bad people in the meditation center, but they know that, at least they know the religion. They know the Dhamma. They are not inclined to Dhamma. That's good enough. He encouraged his younger brother like that. Anyway, the main thing is it depends on where we meet our friends or how we become acquaintance. So if we become good friends in the gambling, we cannot say it's a good friend. So if we see them in the bar, in the pub, or in the party, it will be a little bit different. Then, so sometimes they cheat us or they force us to do something or to give them something. We cannot say it's a really good friends. So here, one more thing. When we have good minds, we cannot associate with bad people. If we can associate with bad people, that means we still have bad evil intentions or bad minds. So briefly, when we have good minds, although we have to associate with bad people, we have to associate, but only bhavani and bodily. We can associate, but we cannot associate them with our mind. Mentally, we can disagree many things with them. That is the way we have in our society. We cannot avoid bad people. There are many, many bad friends, bad companions. But if we avoid them, it will be very harmful for us, very harmful for them. That is why we have to associate. But here we have to remember one thing. We can associate or communicate with them verbally and bodily, but not mentally. It's also important to associate with them. So if we agree whatever thing they are doing, then we are not a good person. Okay, now and again, we have the next 6. There are 6 evil consequences in being addicted to idleness. We can also understand as lazy, right? Laziness. So when we are lazy, we may have many, many excuses. They are mentioned. Oh, it is extremely cold. The first one, too cold. It is extremely cold. That's why I cannot walk. That is the first excuse. Then if it's too hot also, number 2, you mentioned, it's extremely hot. This is the second excuse. So that means whether it's hot, heat or cold, he give excuse, and he will not walk properly, or he will become lazy. Then he cannot earn money. He cannot protect his earning. Then 3, it is too late in the evening. So we have to start in the evening, for example. But we don't wait to start. That's why I say, oh, it's too late, so I will start tomorrow. Then, we will postpone next day. Then there are many, many, many next day, finally, next week. If there's a many, many next week, it becomes next month. If we have many, many, many next month, there will be next year. So similarly, in our meditation also, we have a lot of excuses. Okay, I will meditate next year, or maybe next month, next week, something like that. We postpone. Finally, we cannot meditate properly. Okay, the main thing is, if we think too late, we have excuses, we become lazy. Don't think that it is late. As long as we have willingness, we can start anytime. So 4, is it too early in the morning? Sometimes it's too early. Or may I have to wait until the sunrise? Then we don't walk properly. Then it becomes one of the excuses. So here we have 2 things, too late and too early. These 2 are also excuses. Then 5. He may say that he is extremely hungry. Sometimes when we are hungry, okay, I'm so hungry that I cannot walk. I cannot walk now. So we may have this kind of excuse. Then 6, that he will say that he is too full after eating too much. If someone is full, he cannot walk properly. He may think that he will walk later, something like that. So he will become lazy. So altogether, there are 6 evil consequences, or we can say 6 different excuses for lazy people or idle people. So is it too cold? Is it too hot? The first 2. Or rather, the second 2. It is too late and it's too early. Now we have the third 3, the third 2. I'm so hungry. I'm so too full. When we have all these excuses, we cannot protect our properties. Now we cannot continue our livelihoods smoothly and easily. So when we have all these things, we cannot perform our duties. There are many duties undone. Then we cannot prosper, we cannot gain new properties. Then we will get lost, or we will lose the properties we have already acquired. So these, we have already mentioned dissipating wealth, right? We already mentioned the dissipating wealth in the very beginning about taking intoxicants. But in the second group, centering at night and assembly hour, then we have the next group about frequenting theatrical show. Now we have the evil consequence of gambling. Okay, the last one is about evil friends. Evil friends. The next one is evil friends. Then now here the last one, we have idleness. The evil consequence of addicted to idleness. That means being lazy. So if we have all these 6 situations, 6 conditions, we cannot prosper. Our community cannot prosper. So we must avoid all these evil things or improper situations. Okay, now again, we have to also say all the things in stanza again. They are mentioned 6 causes of ruin. Sleeping till sunrise. This is also one of the things. Second one is adultery. This is very bad, right? Adultery. The next one is irascibility. So, irascibility means, you also already know what irascibility. This means like a short temper, right? Or very easy to get angry. Another one is malevolence. Then, so that means the 4th one is malevolence. The 5th one is evil companions. Then the last one is avarice. So these 6 were ruin a man. So we have to sleep early, get up early. That's what the Buddha wants his disciple to do. Adultery is destroying other people's properties. Actually, when we talk about Kamasumichajara in our previous talk, I actually explain many different things. But here, briefly, we can say, as long as the lady is already married, we should not disturb her. Right? That is really, really very bad already. So adultery. Similarly, we can also understand the family. So if there's adultery, we also spoiling other people's properties, also other people's family. So if we don't have adultery, we can protect other people's family. Okay, now next one is, okay, we have to continue another one. So there are some friends, they will mislead us, or they will guide us the wrong way or the wrong path. So that means they are evil friends. They will send us to the wrong way, the wrong path. So if we are in the wrong path, it will be very harmful for our life here in this very life or hereafter, in the future existences. So this is also one of the things the Buddha mentioned in this suttas. Then we have the next group. They also mention 9 things that ruins a man. It mentioned dice, similar to gambling. So the first one is dice, although we say dice also means gambling. The other one is woman or women. So that means a womanizer will destroy himself. Then they mention liquors, they can be taken intoxicants. Then dancing. So you already know what it means dancing. That means like a theatrical show, right? Singing. You can understand singing means singing is sound, singing music, right? That means you may listen to the music all the time, for example. Then similarly, sleeping by day. You can also imagine sleeping by day. So previous group mentioned sleeping until the sunrise. This one mentioned sleeping by day. So that means we must not sleep in daytime too much. It's unhealthy. But there are some special cases. Many of workers, they have to work overtime. They will work at night duties, for example. For them, it will be exception, right? But actually, if we sleep at night, we can sleep well. If we sleep daytime, not that good. Then again, sauntering at unseemly hours. We have already mentioned night outs. If we have night outs too much, then we cannot protect ourselves, our family, our properties, so forth. We have already mentioned before. And evil companions. So we have already talked about what are evil companions, right? So if we meet in the bad place, it's bad friends. If we see them in a good place, we can say we are good friends. But not only that, there are some friends, when we are going to do something bad, it's very easy to ask them to follow us. When we are going to do something good, they are not ready to accept, they are not ready to follow us. So here, evil companions mean if he is ready to do many evil things together, we cannot say he's good friends. Now finally, avarice. This is also a kind of greed. You have already know what's called avarice, right? So that means it's a kind of greed. If we become very greedy or improper greed, we can say like that. That means more than we can work, we expect. That's called avarice. Sometimes we can work very little, but we can wish to earn more than that. Right? Not only that, we wish to get other people's property in improper ways. That is called avarice. So these are the 9 things that rules the man. So it will spoil people's life. So then the Buddha also continues with the stanza again. So there are the friends who plays with the dice, and who take intoxicants, who goes to the women who are dear to others as their own lives. That means other people's beloved wife, for example. The husband will love his wife too much as his life. So if somebody destroying that kind of family is really, really very bad. So if we associate with that kind of people, but if we don't associate with good people, then our life will decline just as the moon during the waning half. So soon we may have full moon day. After the full moon day, the moon becomes smaller and smaller. Finally, it disappears in the dark moon day. Similarly, if we associate with that kind of people, our life will decline slowly. Finally, no more good reputation. We spoil ourselves totally. This is also important. So the Buddha himself talk about association. When we have good associations, it's auspicious. It's a kind of blessing. In the Mangala Sutta, it mentioned, right? So if we don't have good friends, at least we should not have many, many bad friends. So again, the Buddha also talk about another groups who drank, poor, destitute, stay thirsty while drinking, frequent the bars, will sink in debt as a stone in the water. So you can easily understand the stone in the water. If we throw a stone in the water, it will sink into the water immediately. It cannot come up anymore. Similarly, when we are poor, destitute, but we drink a lot, although we are drinking now, we wish to drink more and more. That kind of people will be sink in the debt. He owed a lot of debt. Then simply he will bring disrepute to his family. So that means he cannot get a good reputation. So briefly, we can understand one more thing. Sometimes our friends, our associate, or our companions can upgrade our life. Sometimes they also can downgrade our life. It depends on who we communicate or who we associate frequently. So in the household life, the Buddha also used to say in another stanzas, who by habit sleep by day and keep late hours, and also is ever intoxicated, and also licentious, is not fit to lead household life. That means in household life, we have to protect ourselves, have to protect our families. That's why we should not get drunk, right? Then similarly, sometimes we have many opportunities, many good opportunities were passed, if we have a lot of excuses, then the Buddha also said, who say it's too hot, too cold, too late, leave things undone. The opportunities for good go past such men. That is the stanza mentioned in the suttas. Then here we have to continue another stanza mentioned. He does not regard cold or heat or anything any more than the blade of grass, and who does his duties manly, does not fall away from happiness. So that means if we don't have any excuses, if we perform our duties properly, we will be happy. If we cannot perform our duties, we cannot feel happy. So that means we also have to know laziness is really, really dangerous. Idleness is also really, really dangerous for our improvement. If we know that, we will practice well. So, okay, now we have the last part for today's Dhamma talk. Just introduction. Because next week, I have to introduce all these types of friends. So we have already talked about evil friends or false friends or bad friends. Now here the Buddha also continues talking about evil friends. They are mentioned. These four young householders should be understood as a foes in the case of friends. So that means they are in the case of friends. Who are they? He mentioned. One, he who appropriates a friend's possession. Two, he who renders lip service. Three, he who flatters. Four, he who brings ruins. These are four types of friends. The Buddha talked to Singala. So actually it's too wide. So we have to continue all these friends next week, because we also have good friends and bad friends. I think maybe I have to continue next maybe three Dhamma talks maybe, right? Anyway, if we summarize today's Dhamma talk, in the very beginning, we have already talked about centering and similarly hour. This is the first part. After that, centering in the street at assembly hours, right? Second one is frequenting theatrical shows or enjoying many festivals or entertainment. Then the third group is indulging in gambling. Then the fourth group is evil friends. So same with evil friends, right? Then another one is the being addicted to idleness. So if we have all these things, we are destroying our properties, we are destroying our life. Gradually, our life will become weaker and weaker. That means we can say like a gentle away, right? Our life will gentle us away. Not only that, our properties will gentle us away. So briefly, these are the things we should avoid. Although it doesn't mention as a morality, we have to understand as morality. That means, according to Buddha's teaching, there are only two types of morality. The first one is to do. Second one is not to do. So here the Buddha say not to do. That's why this is also called morality. After that, we will talk about the friends. They also mentioned to do and not to do about friends. So next week we will continue about the friends. So today I will stop here. May you all be able to practice the Buddha's teaching, and may you all be able to realize the final sensation and not suffering.
Sadhu, 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 Bante.
Then any question?
कुणाला काही प्रश्न आहेत का?
No more question. Maybe a little heavy topic for listener, right?
Yes, Bante, little bit heavy.
Right? Very heavy topic, right?
Yes. कुणाला काही प्रश्न आहेत का? No questions, Bante.
Okay, so let me only share it, right?
Yes, Bante.
Itawadaja amehi sambadam bunya sambadam sabbe deva numodandu sabbe buddha numodandu sabbe satta numodandu sabba sambati siriya idamme nyatinam hodu sukhita hondu nyadayo idamme nyatinam hodu sukhita hondu nyadayo idamme nyatinam hodu Sukhita hondu nyadayo idame punyam asawakaya waham hodu idame punyam nibbanasa pachayo hodu mama punya bagam sabba sadanam bhajimi te sabbe me samam punya bagam labandu sadhu sadhu sadhu.
Thank you, Bante.
Sukhi hotu.